Mount Hood. It's just a short drive away from Portland, but it has an abundance of amazing trails all the way around the mountain. Today, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite areas on the mountain. I'm talking about Yocum Ridge, the main spine that runs right up the west side of the mountain. This is a very long trek, not for the faint of heart. But if you're willing to put in the hours, you'll be rewarded with some of the finest backcountry in the entire Pacific Northwest. I backpacked up there this summer, and my mind was continually blown by everything I saw, including a wild mountain goat frolicking on a glacier, which we will get to later. This trail is not messing around. At 18.6 miles and 4,500 feet of elevation gain, you should be in good shape. Without snow gear, it's typically accessible from late July through mid-October. Okay, the route up Yocum Ridge. The first leg of this trip is actually just doing the Ramona Falls Trail, a local favorite among Portlanders. The trailhead is just about 90 minutes away from downtown Portland. You start the hike through some sparse but pleasant forest for about a mile, and you immediately encounter the most treacherous part of the trip, crossing the Sandy River Muddy Fork. This river is beautiful, and you get your first really good view of Mount Hood. But the bridge here was washed out by floods years ago, and there are no current plans to replace it. So if you want to get to the other side, you better be ready to scoot across a log. About 3 miles in, you arrive at Ramona Falls. This is an extremely picturesque waterfall, and it deserves its own episode. But for now, I'll just say plan to stop to rehydrate and take in the sights. There's also a handful of dispersed campsites around the area, and you could easily break the trip up into a more leisurely 2-day ascent by camping here for the night. After you're done with waterfall time, continue on across the wooden bridge and stay right at the junction to veer onto the legendary Timberline Trail. A mile into the Timberline, there's a signpost pointing out the start of the Yocum Ridge Trail, which is very useful, as the actual trailhead is basically invisible unless you're looking for it. Things get a tad less maintained here, but if you're patient, you can really get through anything. And slowly but surely, the woods start opening up, with the green meadow here and a patch of wildflowers there. The scenery continues to develop with gorgeously tangled meadows of wildflowers sloping up and down on either side of you, until around the 8-mile point, you hit one of the most stunning reveals of a mountain face I've ever experienced. Framed on the bottom by an exquisitely lush and green meadow, the western face of Hood is suddenly spread out before you. Arriving at the drop-off to the Sandy River Canyon, the view becomes a vertical panorama, with the mountain face disorientingly taking up your entire field of vision from top to bottom. Bring binoculars if you can, because the whole slope opposite you is spackled with glaciers, with multi-tiered waterfalls jetting down out of them, all the way down to the start of the river. You could easily spend an entire day here, or really a week, exploring and taking in the views, and there is a great campsite right there. But that's not the end. From here, the trail angles back and up the slope, with tree islands and waves of wildflowers continuing to wash over the landscape. The birds, butterflies, and bees love it. Before too long, we cross over the spine of the ridge, and suddenly get an uninterrupted view north, with Adams and Rainier hanging out right in front of you. The trail narrows here as you follow close to the peak of the ridge, before the trail breaks into the open and abruptly peters out. This would make for a wonderful, exhilarating, world-class hike already. But if you're feeling particularly sure-footed, you can scramble on upwards, below a seemingly permanent snowfield toward the apex of Yocum Ridge, until things suddenly level out in a multi-tiered meadow with the entire face of the mountain on one side, and one of the best views west I've ever seen. If you make it this far, please understand that you are now in a very fragile, exquisite alpine environment, and you need to be very careful. Stick to walking and camping on rocks, scree, or snow. That said, from here, the country is otherworldly and indescribably beautiful. There are cascading alpine streams trickling right out of the ice. Two of the main glaciers on Mount Hood, the Sandy and the Reed, are both a stone's throw away, and if you're lucky, you might even unexpectedly stumble on a new friend or two. As if this bananas sunset wasn't enough, there's also a mountain goat playing in the snow over there. Check it out. This is crazy. I didn't even know there were mountain goats on Mount Hood. There's at least one. This was hands down one of the best sunsets I've ever seen in my life. The next day, after enjoying the morning alpenglow on the face of Mount Hood, you pack up your stuff and just retrace your steps all the way to the parking lot. And now, here's a little trail tune to help you remember Yocum Ridge.